Hey there! I have shared quite a few meal prep time lapses, but I haven't really explained what goes on before I fill those tubs with 2 weeks worth of food. So today I will show you what I do before I turn those empty containers into these colorful meals. Of course, everything starts by ordering the necessary ingredients, but I'll show how I go about that in a future video. Today we're starting at the freezer in the basement of our apartment complex. It was half empty here, stocked with our first order of organs, bone and game meat, as well as some vegetable purees. The meat came from a place that I order from once every 3 months or so, and we mainly use the website to get organs and game meat. Then our main order came in from Wolf, a sustainability-focused web shop where we get most of our meat and bone items. You can get a discount on their website using code MOJOVENUS in the Netherlands and Belgium. Then, using my old list of freezer contents and the 2 order lists from both web shops, I created a new list of the current freezer contents so that I can decide what to use for the meal prep the next day. I use the BARF ratio diet as a basis and follow that up by a check in an Excel spreadsheet I made to determine whether I follow NRC guidelines. That too I will explain in another video. I then calculate the amount of food I will need for both dogs combined and determine how much bone, organ and meat I will be using and which particular items I will pick this time. Every meal prep is different from the one I did 2 weeks before. Afterwards, I change the freezer content list so that it is up to date for the next prep I'll be doing in 2 weeks' time. I take the list downstairs and fill a crate with all required ingredients. Depending on the temperatures, I either take the meat out just before bedtime to prep early in the morning on colder days, or I take it out in the mornings to prep just a few hours later if the days are warmer. I always use this shower cubicle to thaw the ingredients because I think it's a perfect surface since it can be cleaned very thoroughly and rinsed afterwards. I prefer thawing it in a cold environment, so as soon as we have space, I'd love an old fridge, even one that's not working, to thaw the ingredients slowly and safer. To speed the prepping process along, I make a day-by-day list to decide which ingredient goes where. This is my way of keeping their meals varied. Instead of putting 1/14 of every ingredient into all 14 containers, I alternate the ingredients in such a way that every day is different from the last. Nutritional balance is then achieved over a 2-week period. Depending on the prep, I feed 2 to 3 different types of bone-in meat, 2 to 3 types of secreting organ, 3 types of vegetable puree, and I write those down first, all alternating. This prep had 7 types of meat, including tripe, heart, fat, and fish as well, and for those I take some extra time deciding how many containers I can fill with each type, since some of the items I had more of than others. So here you can see that this time I used feet and wings, liver and pancreas, and 3 types of vegetable blends. And when the meat is partially thawed, I place 14 containers for each dog on either side of the dining table. I then label the lids with the dog's initials because although they eat the same amount each day, remember that I achieve balance over time within one set of containers. I can't simply switch between the sets. I also number the lids in order to keep that alternation ingredients that you just saw. One at a time, I grab an ingredient from the shower cubicle and double check the weight. Sometimes a bag of 1 kilogram can weigh 50 grams more, and the next bag will weigh a bit less. I don't stress about that difference, but I do want to equally divide it over 2 bowls so both dogs get the same amount of each ingredient. I then follow the list and strike through each ingredient that I finish dividing over the containers until I'm done. Of course, not every ingredient comes in a bag that is the size, the amount that I need. So what I do is I simply refreeze the rest in the amount that I will be using it in the future. Duck liver, for example, I use very small amounts of, and that means that for a 1 kilo bag I can use it for 7 times or so for 2 weeks at a time. This means that I refreeze it in 2-week portions. Now that's my basic prep time explained, but I couldn't leave you without the rest of this time lapse because I know you all like it. So here you go. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you next week.